All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hi, this is Ann McNeil, the Master Wealth Builder, helping you to build a stronger and a better life and business. And want to say thank you and welcome to our webinar discussing your niche to be rich and your life and legacy. Well, how do you become more focused in the area of your business and your life? That's really what we're going to talk about today. How do you become more focused in your business and also your life in order for you to get that which you truly desire? My desire today is to be available to answer some questions relative to how we, over the years, have been able to help individuals to have a better quality of life in every area of their life as a part of our Think and Grow Rich philosophy. And so, again, my name is Ann McNeil, and this is a presentation about how we've been able to do that. Now, been in the speaking industry for a very, very long time as the first Black female contractor in the state of Florida, operating at the level that we do, a member of the National Speakers Association, board member, and I run many actually, five different businesses, and a couple of them are multi-million dollar businesses. And I'm also certified with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. These are some of the projects that I am either on or have been on. One of my most favorites is in my hometown of Riviera Beach. I actually am constructing three fire stations for the city of Riviera Beach, and one of them, called Fire Station 88, has received national recognition as being one of the top fire stations in the entire United States. And I'm very excited about that. The American Airlines Arena is another project that I've been on to help construct that. Then the Marlins Ballpark in Miami. We've been blessed to be able to work on four airports in the United States, in particular Miami International Airport, which I've been there now for 40 plus years. And as the first Black female contractor in my state of Florida operating at the level that I do, it took me many years to understand where's the money. And when it comes to construction in this industry, many of the different industries, we are still learning where the money is. And my desire today is to help you if you're interested in identifying where is the money in the construction industry in particular, and also in your business specifically. Founder of these five businesses: MCO Construction Services, MCO Consulting, my constructivist speaking business called Ann McNeil, the Master Builder, founder of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. And actually, right now, we're here in Washington, D.C. at the Congressional Black Caucus, the 54th, and I have attended the last 20 plus caucus meetings. And here in Washington, as founder of this phenomenal organization called NABWIC, last night at the City Club of Washington on 13th, I hosted a private reception. And my sponsor said, "And it's not a private reception when you have 3,000 people." So I hosted a reception, two receptions at the same time, one for everybody, it was a general reception, and one called a private reception for all of our corporate sponsors and also the politicians. And we had about 30 people in that reception and over 1,000 upstairs. Now, what's interesting about that, and I'll keep this moving, is that our sponsor, HNTB, was a major sponsor. And then also we had a sponsor of Hatch Engineering, and we honored one of my dear friends who, in memoriam, Louis Casada, for his commitment to our organization and all of my businesses, which he was very committed to help connect us with contacts, and those contacts turned into contracts. And then finally, the International Mastermind Association, I'm the founder of that. And of course, when I say founder, I have a team in each one of these businesses that help me do what I do. Otherwise, I could not be here. So I don't want anybody thinking that this is an inside job and it's me, 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 my. It is not. For example, I shared with Michelle today, who's on the other side of this Zoom. I shared with her how thankful I am for her support because I could not do and be what God is calling me to do and be and to go places if it were not her and others handling my schedule and telling me when to stand, when to sit, and when to be quiet. So let me move on. As a national speaker, I'm also the founder of the National Speakers Association Black NSA $1 Million Mastermind. Came up with the idea from my International Mastermind Association experiences with the power of masterminding from the book Think and Grow Rich. And as a result of that, I formed inside of Black NSA, and you can go to blacknsa.org and get all of these details. I host a $1 million mastermind along with a team of individuals who are board members in Black NSA. But every 10, it is 10 weeks. We're starting actually this Monday. And if you're interested, again, you go to blacknsa.org and you can register to become a member. I strongly encourage that. But the point is this: many, many, many millions of people have read the book Think and Grow Rich, but very few have learned how to teach the philosophy of mindset, not skill set, but mindset. And I'm very thankful and grateful to have the ability to do that and share with so many individuals. And also in my speaking business, I've had the pleasure and the honor of sharing nationally as a professional speaker, helping individuals learn how to niche to be richer in their business and in their mindset. This year, I was blessed to travel the world on a world cruise for 6 months with my daughter Iona, who's also in this picture to the right, on the Crystal Serenity cruise line. We left in January and returned. Actually, I returned in the last week of May and then turned around and went back to Peru for another week with a group of friends from Women's Presidents Organization called WPO. But these are just some of the pictures of the places that we were able to visit. And to the left, I'm not sure if you can see this, but I'm just gonna see if I could enlarge this just a little bit. And in the future, we will have an opportunity to, excuse me for that. In the future, we'll have an opportunity to just have this one slide, Michelle, so you can actually see to the left, and I have my cursor there, where all of the places that we went, 72 ports all over the world. And we are planning on going again next year. And so I'm very excited about that, from the Cayman Islands to Belize to all around South America, over to Africa, and then over to Europe. And so that's one of the opportunities we've had to travel the world as a part of what we do when we teach the different areas of your life and business, but making a plan to actually execute those areas. All right. These are some of the national awards I've received. Uh, the first one to the left is Better Investing. I've been a volunteer with an organization called the National Association of Investment Clubs, called used to be called NAIC, now it's called Better Investing. And you can go to betterinvesting.org and get the details about that. But I was very honored in 2022 to receive the Better Investing George Nicholson's Junior Distinguished Service Award for that national organization. And it was truly an honor. Thousands of individual investors all over the world. And I received that honor that year. And I literally was brought to tears because it was a surprise. And then in 2023, I was inducted into the National Academy of Construction, called NAC. And this particular individual, you must be invited. Someone must invite you to be presented for membership. And I went through that process. A number of people had invited me, and I was blessed to be among my peers, which included all of the presidents of all of the white construction companies in the United States and just a couple of black ones. And so being in that space was a blessing from God, which allows us to elevate not just our brand, but to bring so many others with us in the construction industry. And then this is the third one, and I just chose these because I'm so excited about this. 2023, the National Association of Women in Construction, I received their Champion of Progress Award as a member, that I've been a member of the National Association of Women in Construction. That's NAWIC. So people don't get confused. My organization that I founded is called NABWIC, NABWIC, National Association of Black Women in Construction. But I've been a member of the National Association of Women in Construction since 1982, and I advocate for both. And so I was really blessed and honored to receive their honor for the year in 2023. These are some of the books that I've written. One set on the left with the circles is called How to Start and Run a Successful Mastermind Group. I read the book Think and Grow Rich in 1979, December 31st, 9 p.m., and was so moved by the progress and the success that we had in the first 10 years of that process of masterminding, decided to create an association for masterminders to learn how to mastermind, and then wrote these books on the mastermind best practices, which gives sample agendas and code of ethics and accountability charts and books to read. And all of these different things are in those books. And I'm just excited and honored to be able to share this with the world, because many people want to start a free family and friends mastermind group, but they really don't know how to do that. And so blessed to do that. And then this book called This is Living is a book that I wrote. It's actually a journal, but it's my thoughts each day. I have thousands of them. They're called Today's, and I just put them in a book as a journal. And this book, entitled How to Raise a Baby Billionaire, was actually the first book that I wrote, because many people were asking me. My daughter, Ione McNeil, who's branded herself as the baby billionaire, you can go and Google her. And people kept asking me from second, third, fourth, fifth grade, what do you do? How do you teach the children to be more success minded? And so I wrote this book, How to Raise a Baby Billionaire, with just some of the best practices that I've used along with my husband and our family, in our family with Ione and our grandchildren also. And then this book I published this year, called You Must Have a Dream to Have a Dream Come True, is just a culmination of some of my experiences over the last 40 plus years in this on this journey of life success in the 10 areas of my life, which include the spiritual goals, family goals, financial goals, educational goals, health goals, my business and career goals, professional goals. Then I want to encourage you to think about your recreational goals, your civic, your creative, and also your personal development, but goals in all of the different areas. And so I just wrote some experiences that I share with others on having dreams that can come true when you do the inner work on the mindset. And then finally, this final workbook is called Remember Me This Way. I host a retreat every year. It's called Life and Legacy. And many years ago, 15 years to be exact, when I started putting this together, I had just gone through probate and trust. In our family, we had a devastating experience where my parents paid for a property that we grew up in, only to find out that my father's sister, who was buying the property with my father, did not put his name on the deed. When my father passed, my aunt came to my mother, who was living in the property, and said she needed to pay rent. And my mother, who's paid for this property for 30 years, almost lost her life in grief. And I stepped in and told my aunt and my mom that I would pay my mom's rent to my aunt until my mom passed away. And out of that experience, understanding so many individuals don't take care of their business of living before they pass. And so I came up with some ideas and a combination with some other experiences, and I host a retreat called Life and Legacy. And one of the very first things that I do is I ask people to send me their obituary before we start. And once they arrive, we turn that obituary into an affirmation for living. And it is a beautiful experience. But We make our funeral arrangements and all of those. Everybody cannot handle this information. But guess what? Not one of us will get out of this alive. And so, what I'm learning is that the best thing to do is to prepare before that. I will also confess, and I know this is live, I will confess that this week I had the privilege and honor of burying my last brother, Carl Cobb. And because I did this work, 15 years started. I purchased a pre-need for my brother 15 years prior and myself. And when he passed, everything was paid for in advance 15 years prior. And I was shocked to learn that if I had not done that, I would have had to pay an additional $10,000 over and above what I'd already paid, which was less than five. And I don't know if any of you are listening to this. I don't know if this will hit home with any of you that bury a loved one, but I would encourage you, do the work that normally we don't want to discuss when it comes to family members, so that you don't have to be one of those individuals that go online and ask people to do a GoFundMe to bury yourself or your family members. And so I just want to share that, as these are some of the books that I've written. And I just wanted to share that information because it's very dear to me as a part of what I do, as a part of the retreats that I host. All right. Now, focusing on entrepreneurial and small business owners, this is what I do. And these are just some of the slides from our different uh, entrepreneurial events we've had. These are some wife, mother, grandmother, friend events that we've done with family and friends where we've traveled the world. And now recently, first class. And it has just been phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal with our family. You can see some of these photos. And right now, what I like to talk about is the big elephant in the room. All right. What is that elephant for you? Do you feel like you're working really hard and you have very little to show for it, maybe? How about this is your elephant? All of these different things, the meetings, the email, scrolling, dinner, lunch, all of these different things may be the elephant in the room that really is taking you away from what is really important. So, what is your elephant? Do you feel like your inability to get clear and greater clarity is impacting your next level of your life and your business? Maybe that's your elephant. What about your priorities? Well, what your problem is costing you can consist of missed opportunities, lack of focus, financial freedom, financial resources and cash reserves, precious time with loved ones, or even taking a well needed vacation. Not just the financial cost, but not being able to spend time with your family, not being able to take downtime when you need it, or maybe just broken. And that last one is where I was on December 31st when I picked up a copy of the book Thinking Grow Rich. I realized when the author asked me, Ann McNeil, how much money do you want? I did not know, because nobody ever asked me that before. And that night was the line in the sand that I drew, because I was willing for the first time in my adult life to realize and to admit I was broke and broken. What about you? Are you broke and broken, or just broke or broken? What you really want, I would suggest, is probably clarity, time with family and friends. How about financial freedom, self confidence, a whole life success, and a system? How about to reach new heights in life and business? Success habits, maybe a team, maybe it's legacy building. This is what I know for sure. It is possible for you to live your best life while building a financial legacy and taking your business to the next level. I do know that for sure. And if you want to know how I know that, you can ask me later. Now, let's meet Chris McCarron. Chris shared that her challenge was generating revenue and having an imposter syndrome. Her quote says, I was barely making enough money to pay my bills, racking up debt, driving a beat up old car. But in conversations, she said, I was very self deprecating and had a negative attitude. toward my future. Those were Chris' words in her own voice. But I want you to keep this in mind. Expectations. I want you to be excited to be a part of your journey. I want to have you just be excited because I would love to be a part of your journey because my team and I are committed to guide you to get results. What got you here, remember this, won't get you there. If you've been hustling and grinding, you need to put some systems in place. If you've been living on government contracts in particular, like so many of us, and I'm not ashamed to say, yes, that I'm one of those. Yes, government contracts from the day I started my business. But if you are interested and you need some financial management systems and processes in place, we can help you with that because I have some breaking news. Contrary to what you believe, legacy is financial because most people, yes, most people think about legacy and the stories and the lessons that are passed down. And all of that is great. But if you don't leave any money behind, then they are going to repeat the cycle that you tried to break. Yes, they're going to repeat that cycle that you tried to break. Now imagine what it would be like when your business is growing, you have an amazing team that allows you to take time away and be present for your loved ones, your grandchildren's recitals and sports games. You are able to go away on a 3 week vacation. How about a 6 month vacation? That's what we just did. We just went away for a 6 month vacation. And I would like to challenge and encourage each and every one of you to consider that. Let me just state, let me just let me just wait for a minute for that to sink in. One moment, 2 moments. Okay? A 6 month vacation. All right. Now, is that for you? That's what I said it was for me. What about that? Is what I'm talking about. That vacation. Why don't we just go ahead and go there? This is the slide that I was referring to earlier. These are some of the places that we went in the world: Lisbon, Portugal, Spain, all of these places. Yes, every single one of them, we hit every single one. And it was true. You can see that big smile on my face if you're looking at this on YouTube. It was an exciting experience. Uh, no laundry for 6 weeks, 6 months. Sorry, no laundry. Uh, yes, a butler 24/7, a maid turned down in our suite twice a day, five five-star restaurants on the ship, full gym, 3 pools, sauna, spa. I could go on and on. And every other day we were in a different port. Sometimes we were at sea for a couple of days, but otherwise it was all about rest, vacation, and really enjoying life. I don't know if that's for you, but that is that is amazing. This is another trip I took with my grandson. Once a year we go somewhere, and a few years ago we went to Cape Town together for 2 weeks after leaving Nigeria and some port parts of Africa. There are 4 keys. I want to wrap up, but there are 4 keys you must master to live your best life. Because it's not about me, although I'm sharing, it's really about you and how do you want to live a life of significance while leaving a legacy. That's really what it's about. What's your next step? Now, life and legacy framework, this is my framework. A definite purpose. Coming back to Chris McCarron, this is a different face. It's the same person, but it's a different face. Chris McCarron now calls herself Queen Bee of Beehive Co-working Community. home improvement as a contractor. She says it has been 2 years since that initial 90 days, and I still recite the self confidence formula. This is after she left my retreat. She said, I live in a beautiful home that I designed, and I've joined a stock investing club. I've written a book and created multiple passive income streams. And I'm about to launch, a course and on real estate. Those are her words. All right. Now, life and legacy framework number 2, visionary leadership. I don't want you to worry, I've got you. We will give you resources required to implement this next step, which is all about the community. And this is a part of the framework that we promote. This is Malachi Monroe. Malachi was featured as a future entrepreneur in the magazine. He says, first of all, Malachi Monroe, Monroe Media Inc., founder, six-figure med spas. Now, his quote points says, I realized that university was not for him. This was what he said. He said, after leaving the university, came to Ann McNeil, where she became more of a mentor, and she allowed me to see a larger vision of myself. And now I had full control over my life. I got clear on the vision and in the vision. Now, let's go to the life and legacy framework. First is your definite purpose, then visionary leadership, and then financial mastery. This is Galen Bingham and talking about mindset. Galen says he's president and owner of King Global Coaching and Consulting. Leadership strategist. He is the leadership strategist. He says, since working with Ann, he's been able to fortify the mental strength that he needed to live his dream of impacting the lives of people around me. He goes on to say, embracing a life of audacious possibility, having accountability to remain focused on revealing the most notable version of myself, also being able to create a bold world of possibility, and anchored the 13 principles of Think and Grow Rich. Now he's co-host of the Think and Grow Rich Saturday show, also the founder of his podcast, which is called Whiskey, Jazz, and Leadership. Now, this life and legacy framework basically gives us the ultimate transformation. But I have a news flash. It's going to be hard to get the life and live the legacy you love when your process is broken. All right? I have one more thing, just one more thing. Mindset is everything. Remember that. Mindset, it is everything, not skill set, but mindset. Mindset is a positive mind finds a way it can be done. A negative mind looks for all the ways it can't be done. And that's a quote by Napoleon Hill. But new mindset brings about new results. Your success requires a shift in your mindset. Now, this is the mindset formula: thoughts, feelings, words, actions, and then results in that order. This is Valencia Warren Gibbs on a mindset shift. She's the chief financial consultant. She said, when working with Ann, it helps to identify, define, and place your desire in front of you while teaching you how to learn from the obstacles. And that goals are a byproduct of the greatest gift of discovering you while helping to transform you in all areas of your life. She goes on to say, just trust the process. You have to be ready for what you are seeking. Carve and curate a path in which each area of your personal and professional life. But now, wealthier in spirit, finances, health, creativity, family, more profitable in her business by following the guidance and support of the McNeil Factor. And thank you for that, Valencia. Now, what's the story blocking your next level? And I'm serious about this. What's holding you back really are the stories that we tell ourselves, because no amount of coaching can overcome your limiting beliefs. And I really want you to believe that. No amount of coaching, no salve, no oil, no exercise other than mindset will help you overcome limiting beliefs. Living your best life and establishing your legacy is not as hard as letting your mindset stop you from achieving your next big goal. You're waiting for a sign. Are you? Are you waiting for a sign? I'm waiting for an answer. Because if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. And don't worry, my team and I are committed to helping you achieve living your best life and establishing your legacy. It doesn't have to be hard. With our help, you can recap as we wrap up. Let's recap your legacy. Let's start with your elephant. How about your real problem and what is it costing you? How about the life and legacy framework, starting with your definite purpose, your visionary leadership, your financial mastery, and then your mindset mastery? You don't need four separate programs. There's no reason for you to have to go to find four different programs to piece together a solution on your own. You don't need that. And you can't reverse engineer this scene. You see at the top of this, but you see at the bottom line of the water is really where the problem is for all of us. We're talking about the tip of the iceberg. Oftentimes we want to deal with the tip, but we don't want to go down into the deep waters within to really, really, really deal with the real issues we often face. So don't waste time and energy trying to reinvent the wheel. What you don't know could cost you everything. You have a decision to make. You really do. So, option one, you can work on your own and implement what I've shared on your own. Option two, let me help you. You can enroll in our Niche to be Rich and or our Life and Legacy Retreat to be fully supported to achieve the living your best life and establishing your legacy. How much is this costing you not to solve the problem? It's money going out of the window and it's wasting time in the sand. Now, you can register for the McNeil Factor Retreat today. My information is on the website at annmcneil.com. That's ANNMCNEILL.com. You can email me at annmcneil@annmcneil.com, or you can call me or text me at 786 546 0184. And if you would like more information, I always like to suggest that you can also text the number 59925 and just put the word "and" in the chat. 59925 and put the word "and" in the chat. And that is if you want to receive information and you don't want to go to the website and you don't want to email, then you can just text the number 59925. I just want to say that again. Text the number 59925. And this will allow you to receive information directly from us. If you're not ready right now, you can text that number 59925. And I want to keep saying it so it's embedded in your memory banks. 59925 You can text that number. It doesn't matter when you hear this in the future, because this is evergreen as we share on YouTube. And then just put the word "and" ANN in the chat. All right. Now, questions. If you have any questions, the McNeil Factor Retreat, these are the options. You can participate in our niche to be rich. The investment is only $9.97. You can make installment payments, or you can invest in the Life and Legacy Retreat. The investment is only $7,500, and you can make investments payments for that. If you go to the website, the dates will vary. It's normally always in the month of November. And because this is evergreen, you can go to the website and get the details about the exact date. All right. It's normally either the first Saturday in November every single year or the second Saturday in November every single year based upon the availability of the hotel, because we love Marriott's, but I love using and participating in a high-end hotel as a part of our retreat. But with that, I want to thank all of you for joining, and we will stop the YouTube and we will stop the sharing, and we are going to ask each of you that have joined us if you have any questions